Afternoon again, everybody. Wonderful. So, yes, this is kind of in two parts. I'll give a little shorter presentation called the UPF Touch. It's just a little bit of kind of indication again about what UPF is doing and how it works and some stories from that. And then today we're inviting everybody here because we have such a mixed and wonderful audience to participate in just a very simple, we call it interfaith blessing. So it's just a way to cement some of the ideas that we've been sharing in our kind of common understanding and show that unity. And I think that will be led by David and Patricia Earl. So first of all, just to mention some things here. There are certain principles that we've covered, and you can see them being employed and utilized in the various programs that UPF is doing. You may know some of those programs yourself firsthand. You've seen videos. We've been playing some today which show the kind of international reach and the interest which is being generated in this approach. Remember, it's a non-governmental organization, largely volunteers, but it's worldwide and doing some very interesting things to draw the attention of world leaders and to hopefully, guide them and help them realize the ideals that they hold dear as well and show our support. So we talked about the give and receive action. Well, that is very much applied to dialogue and to partnerships which we are striving to make. Hence the word federation. So yes, we want to work with people, even sign some kind of joint memorandum with various organizations that we are working for the same purpose and we're there to support each other. And dialogue also, where that's been taking place in quite a number of situations, then that is a way to apply this kind of talking and listening in a good way to have sides come together and to appreciate each other more deeply. There's also, principles of service and sacrifice, and that can be applied to efforts of reconciliation. There's this idea of a heart of a parent or parental heart, and that, I think, can bring new levels of working unity. It is something that's maybe not immediately obvious about UPF, but I think when you consider there's something different about the approach. I call it this aspect of taking a parental role. So you will see, and if you are noticing on the video, at some of the meetings, there are very prominent people there, sometimes former leaders or presidents or prominent people, of very different political persuasions, right? And of very different religious backgrounds as well. But they're sharing a platform, they're coming together, and that means not to judge anybody or say that they are not to be involved. If their intentions are genuine, if they're seeking peace, then let's really provide a platform and a way to work together and have those voices combine. So it's sometimes very interesting to see what kind of, how the platform is shared, right? But that's important. I think it's an important contribution. It's so easy, again, to divide or to polarize people in any situation. That means sometimes, even though asked to do so, have to hold back as UPF from making a kind of too public a statement that's judgmental towards one side or the other. But at the same time, as a good parent, you also have to point out unacceptable things, right, and wrongdoing. So it's a delicate process, and it's one which I think is very much needed. There's the idea of loving one's enemy. That can involve loving the unlovable, right? That's the most difficult thing, and I think we have examples even from Father Moon's own life, that this is in the end necessary. And I had one good friend who was working in this kind of top-level area and visited North Korea several times. And, you're meeting people, in that case a dictator who was responsible for the deaths of millions of people. How do you deal with yourself and your own feelings when you do that? And he said, I just have to bite my tongue, I just have to hold those feelings in. But the point of having some dialogue is more important than, those feelings which I might have and can't fully express. So it's difficult. It indeed is difficult, but for the sake of peacemaking, we need to do that. I strongly commend to you this little book. Have you come across this, anybody? As a peace-loving global citizen, this Father Moon's own, we could say autobiography. I prefer calling it life lessons, actually. Because each chapter has some very important life lessons, something from his experience, from his early childhood up until close to his end of life. He's talking about things that he initiated or things he did and why, and it yields very much also to public reading, even just in a small circle of people. Have you ever done that? You just have some good book and you make a little circle of friends and you just read it. A few paragraphs each around in the circle. Because each chapter is kind of self-contained, you could read them at any time or any stage. It's very good to do. And really in that book also, he includes his own experience, especially as a young person, a boy of 15, where he had his first encounter with Jesus, some experience, spiritual experience, where he saw and met and talked with Jesus, something that he had to hold in a way inside himself for many years, because even those close to him wouldn't understand, and he devoted himself to striving to prepare for the mission that he was given at that moment, which was very hard to bear, and he was asked 3 times. Only on the 3rd time did he accept the mission that Jesus gave him, realizing that if he didn't say yes, he was kind of expecting somebody else to do that job. And it involved, huge things about bringing peace in the world and bringing people of different faiths together, etc. So imagine you're 15 and you get that kind of commission. He went on through his spiritual experiences, and he was a person that we say, our term for it is spiritually open. I don't know what you might call it, but he could see the spiritual world and travel in the spiritual world as a reality, and could converse with important figures of the past, great saints and prophets and people whom he met beyond his initial calling from Jesus. He could meet these other founders of religion and other key people and talk with them and bring questions to them and receive answers. Quite extraordinary, right? He didn't talk much about this, actually, which personally I think is to his credit, because he didn't seek to bring people to himself based on that. And it's easy to do that, I think, but he chose not to. Rather, he chose it to have that inform the work that he would do, so that he would start the projects, he would involve others, he would make a workable plan and strive to see that executed by those who responded to his teaching all around the world. So we have bases, of course, really in virtually every country of the world. And that's interesting because it's teaching much the same things, perhaps more involved, than I'm sharing with you today. but it's to people of very different religious and cultural backgrounds, and yet they're, all getting enthused and motivated to work for this cause through that. So that's a very interesting phenomenon which is taking place. In his early life, Father Moon also had very harrowing prison experiences. He was wrongly imprisoned 6 times in his life. Can you imagine? And some of those experiences were very brutal. That was being, sometimes arrested and beaten, trying to extract from him names of people who had been in an underground movement to liberate Korea from the Japanese at the time they were being oppressed. This kind of thing. But he resolved, in that case, he resolved never to let out those names and never to give those names to the authorities, and suffered more because of that. Maybe his worst prison experience was on the pretext, this is in a North Korean court at the time when communists are just taking over North Korea, and he was sharing his message of the principles that you've been hearing today. That's all he was doing. He's had a lifetime of teaching. Then he was arrested for, in inverted commas, disturbing society, right? Well, that's what I've been doing today, right? I've been doing that. But luckily in this environment, I'm not arrested. I didn't have to go through the harrowing things that he did. He was sent to a North Korean concentration camp where, as it says here, the prisoners were put into teams, 10-man teams. They had to load 700 bags of this caustic fertilizer, which they had to break down from a solidified mound, first of all, put it into bags, and then work 8 hours a day with a very poor diet, a handful of boiled grain and salty soup. He said, in the prison there were times when people just dropped dead doing this work. And if they were eating at that time, other prisoners would rush across and take food from their mouths. That was how serious it was, and that is what he had to experience. But he survived in a camp where people were sent to die, essentially, and the expectancy was about 6 months. You might survive. He survived 2 years and 8 months until he was eventually liberated. That was the time that in the Korean War, forces from 16 nations, and particularly American forces, were bombing that area, and the prison guards escaped, and then prisoners could be freed. But I think it's said that the next day he was due to be executed, but in fact could flee and return to the place where he had gathered many followers, to find most of them not there. So, he joined a big stream of refugees heading south. It was a very difficult time in Korean history. When he got to the very overcrowded city of Busan in the south, this is what he built as a place to carry on his work and to live, a simple shack out of mud blocks, and you see kind of US Army ration boxes in the roof there. He said it was just possible to lie down on a diagonal in there. And that's where he started to write. With the help of his early follower, Wonpil Kim, he began to write what we call the divine principle, unification principle. And he was talking to his early followers about, great things that would happen in the future, and sharing his vision. So I would say don't worry too much about, the reality which is out there, and thinking that, it'll never change. Here's a person who had extraordinary hope and began with much less than we have today, right? In very humble circumstances, but built in a short time a worldwide movement which is now continuing to have great impact. The person who was kind of behind the time of his worst imprisonment there that I talked about was the dictator Kim Il-sung, the original leader of North Korea. And this is a picture of him. Father Moon had a determination to meet Kim Il-sung before Kim Il-sung died. So he said, I've been praying that he won't die before I can meet him. That's not a usual way to talk about your staunch enemy, is it? Right? But he wanted to meet him and to reconcile. He saw in himself a kind of relationship here, like Abel to Cain or Jacob to Esau. He saw this on a worldwide level, that even though he knew what a criminal person this was, what a terrible dictator, and he had suffered personally, through his time of leadership, then he felt, I want to meet this person and, like brothers, reconcile with him. He did that eventually. That was in 1991. He went with his small entourage, Mother Moon as well, via China, because no South Korean citizen is allowed to visit North Korea, right? In fact, South Korean government said, because of what you're doing, we will arrest you when you return to South Korea. In other words, he was facing a possible further imprisonment because he wanted to do this, but he said, I have to do this. Right? So he did, and he went to North Korea, and this is their initial meeting. I think nobody normally just embraces the great and dear leader, whatever his title was, in North Korea. But first thing he did was give him a bear hug, right? And they went on to talk just like, of boyhood memories and, this kind of thing. But not without, maybe I shouldn't spend too much on this story, but not without, first of all, after surviving certain long lectures, a bit like mine, I suppose, but like you're doing, long lectures from North Korean officials on their ideology of Juche. Having listened to that, he said, I would like to say something. And he got up and he spoke, and he said very clearly the limitations of that ideology. He criticized it and talked about its lack of understanding of the reality of God, and that it cannot bring peace with this kind of ideology. At that point, apparently, one of Kim Il-sung's aides came across to Father Moon's aides and said, from now on, you're on your own. In other words, we can't protect you, right? We can't tell what might happen. So this was in a time before we were in contact with mobile phones and things. So, really, he was risking his life by doing that. It's something you never do. But interestingly, Kim Il-sung was upstairs in his palace there, listening via intercom. And he said, I want to meet this man. Right? So because of that, he came down and they had this meeting. Anyway, this is, a very significant part of the work, and something of, I'm trying to tie in there the teaching which we've been sharing with Father Moon's life. He is living what he was teaching and what he was receiving, through his deep understanding, and played that out in his own life. So, UPF is very much involved in interfaith peace building. You may have come across this whole series of pilgrimages to the Middle East. Tragically, this has flared up again, and even worse than it was. And we're thinking very much what we can do. That at the moment, it's a lot of thinking is going into that, because it's a very difficult situation. It's almost the case that as UPF, the first country that you set foot in, you make yourself an enemy with the other country. You seems to be identifying with that country. So how to do it in a way where we bring this parental heart and some kind of wiser viewpoint, hopefully, to warring parties. Here's, on these pilgrimages, do you recognize anybody there? There in the front, there's Margaret. Yes, wonderful. I think are you visiting a mosque at that time, Margaret? Al-Aqsa Mosque? Yes, they open their doors to an interfaith group, which is very unusual, right? It's a very holy site, and amazing. All the women there could go to pray and be welcomed. Such an international group. Interfaith prayer services. I've attended some in Birmingham. Wonderful work going on there, and it shows that there's a movement afoot, to increase this work not just UPF. I mean, it wouldn't work if it were only us. It's kind of in the air, and people are putting a lot of effort and a lot of sincere dedication into this. So we want to work together with such wonderful people. And you yourselves, especially those of you who are ambassadors for peace, or, can take up that role as well, which is open to all of you. You are already peacemakers, and you can join this international network of ambassadors for peace, which is growing all the time. It's kind of very informal, but it is a network of like-minded people, and very significant for that. Father Moon said, and I give this as a kind of message to you, humanity is traveling down a dead-end street. The only way to survive is to practice the peace philosophy of true love, true life, and true lineage that I'm teaching. Soon, the countries and peoples that appear strong and mighty will change course and shift in this direction. Heaven is summoning you to be the wise leaders who will set aright this world of evil and establish a new heaven and a new earth. Amen. Wow. I really feel he was speaking to you, Yeah, it was just this type of audience at that time, and he wanted those words to resonate and be passed on, I'm sure. So another area for UPF is peace and security, and many prominent programs have happened, especially in 2020 in the World Summit Series, Peace Starts With Me. This is, as you recognize, such figures taking an active role as former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, Hun Sen, who's quite left-leaning leader of Cambodia. Interesting, as I said, shared platform here. President Moisiu, former president of Albania, kind of founding father there of the modern country. Very diverse group of world leaders in attendance. Bishop Yunan here, a Palestinian, very wonderful person, and was former head of Lutheran Church Worldwide. This is in the middle somebody representing Mr. Adesina, the recipient of the Nigerian minister, finance minister at the time. So we have done more than I can mention, but in Europe, a special initiative in the Balkans, and that is still continuing, which is bringing together many current and former leaders of those countries, almost as a kind of test case, a kind of way to show peacemaking principles. So there's a lot of hope, and when we have events, it's always covered on live TV and has a very far-reaching audience, so that's very significant. These are recipients of Mother Moon's Sun Hak Peace Prize, which is again significant to honor people who've been working in important areas of peacemaking and give a substantial foundation to their foundations. So we do that on the more local level. I'm responsible myself for this kind of work in 7 countries of what we call North Europe. And here's an event in the Danish Parliament. They have once a year, often coinciding with UN days. We support those and show that we support them. And these are leaders of different faiths in Denmark coming together in a very beautiful ceremony to show how even they are holding individual carafes of water, they can be united like our faiths and our hearts should be united in our peacemaking efforts. So they pour that into a communal bowl and pray over it, and it's simple but effective, and then have some important day meeting, presentations and speeches from prominent people. So this, in terms of meeting together, because this was just prior to COVID, amazingly we could have this World Summit in 2020 in Korea. You have 5,000 or 6,000 people gathered together there, and extraordinary, touching all aspects of UPF work. One of those is service projects for youth. These tend to be more localized projects, but very significant. This is a kind of another theme, not only global, but also local. And this is very significant. Youth for Peace and Development, this is a project. We've had projects in Birmingham. We've had Peace Garden projects. This is one in London, right, Margaret? And also we have this project going on in Moldova, in the Peace Embassy there, where they're serving Ukrainian refugees and their children, providing school education and care for children. It's receiving, support from European Union, financial support, also Catholic Church. So, starting to make good alliances and good friends in this process. Second to last, I mentioned the Peace Road effort. That was on the video. Did you notice it? I was talking about this plan that was initiated by Father Moon, a very visionary plan to create an international highway around the world to further kind of peacemaking efforts. Because if there were better transportation and communication, there's less opportunity for conflict in the world. And so it is a very practical solution to do that. But to symbolically kind of support that, we have events going on all over the world called Peace Road. And they take many different forms, often where there has been some conflict or some kind of barrier in the past to show that that's no longer there. This was in 2021, where many people, you might recognize some of those faces. Then we took part in a walk along Hadrian's Wall. The Romans built that to keep the Scots at bay and to kind of, say this is as far as we go. So that's no longer a barrier, but it was once. So nice to mark that and say, we don't want any more walls in Europe, right? And that was also a theme in Berlin, where we were just a couple of years ago. And this is, at the end, we could meet with mayors. It's amazing, because when you organize something like this, an organization like UPF can get the attention of the local mayor. We had a meeting with the mayor in Carlisle, and then in Newcastle, came and walked the last bit of the road with us and joined and also gave a speech. So we're doing this kind of thing. This is a little event I went to on the border between Sweden and Norway, right? That was closed maybe for the first time in many years because of COVID. So they wanted to celebrate opening that. But these are all kind of mirroring and giving reference to this grand plan to establish a highway, an international peace highway that will even join over the Bering Strait, over the likes of a tunnel between Korea and Japan, utilizing various other already existing tunnels and bridges to bring the world into one. So that was first proposed by Father Moon in 1981 at the International Conference on the Unity of the Sciences. So, already Father Moon founded the Universal Peace Federation, and that has a sister organization that is the Family Federation for World Peace. That is dealing a lot with strengthening marriage and the family. I've been giving you some insights into the theory behind that today, but it's more the work of Family Federation to be doing that and holding what we call blessing ceremonies, strengthening the marriage and family. This, for many people, it's sometimes called a mass wedding, but for some people, young people, this is their wedding day, right? Which is very wonderful. They prepare a long time for this. And for some, it's the rededication of their marriage. They've been married, but they want to rededicate it and receive that blessing now from Mother Moon. Here she is in South Africa, giving a blessing to so many couples. They're filling the largest stadium there in South Africa. It's quite a beautiful sight, isn't it? So, each couple there feeling, this is our very special day to receive this blessing, either to be our wedding day or to renew our wedding vows. And we've had peace blessings here in Birmingham, the Arya Samaj, a Hindu place of worship there and meeting. Very significant, people of different faiths joining together and demonstrating in this peace blessing their unity and their commitment, again, mainly to marriage and family. Here's another very beautiful picture. I'm stealing all these from David and Patricia, right? Interfaith peace blessing here at a church in Birmingham. But you see, this is not only a Christian audience, but a very mixed audience, which is fantastic to see this and to be part of that. It's a very profound experience for people. And the reality is, actually, you are also invited to receive the marriage blessing. Right? If you have a suitable place or group of people or want to join with another group at that time, you can come and receive the marriage blessing. It's for anyone, right? And that is what Mother Moon is doing. She wants, as a minimum, 1/3 of the world's population to be reached this way. Can you imagine? So, right? Will that make a difference? I think so, actually. I think that's part of changing this kind of atmosphere and this culture and this, it's part of that work and reaching a certain threshold. I wonder why she said 1/3. Yes, well, yes, of course you'd like everybody, but if you could reach 1/3, that's already so significant. I don't know how that will happen. Maybe it's kind of tune in to your television at 6 o'clock or something, or turn on the internet. But why not? Why not use this? This is what the technology is here for, actually. This kind of thing is not for just entertainment or worse, right? So this is not quite what we're going to do today. That's the next bit of the program. This is why I have to stop talking now, right? It's because we want to, just amongst ourselves, and invite you to join in a simple interfaith blessing, we can say, based on some of the ideas which we've been sharing, to reaffirm together these values and to feel, yes, we're part of something, right? Here, this is something that we are all sharing and we're all part of, and we'll remember. And so it is, whether you're single or married or whatever your background, it doesn't matter. You can, most people like a blessing, that idea, right? So that's what it is, asking for God's blessing and to ensure in some way increased happiness in your life, right? That is the goal. So thank you very much, everybody. I'll conclude this part right here. And Robin, shall we move straight into this? Yes. Is that all right? Yes, let me just thank you, everybody. I'm going to just readjust. Inviting David and Patricia Earle, inviting them to the stage.
Can we say this is, I think a lot of you know David and Patricia Earle. You've come from Birmingham and so on, but those from London, David and Patricia have been working with UPF for many, many years, decades, and even before it was called UPF. So they have a wonderful activity in Birmingham, their peace meetings and many other activities. So we've invited them to do this next part with us.
Wonderful. So, as I mentioned, we're inviting all of you to participate in this. We're calling it Interfaith Peace Blessing. How do you like that? Yeah. So the way that we do it, I'll just explain it first of all so you can remain seated, is we invite everybody to share in a cup of what we call holy nectar. It's like juice, just juice that's had a prayer over it. And this is non-alcoholic, so you don't need to worry if you want to avoid that. Nobody will be getting the alcoholic version, right? And this is kind of a way to make a new resolution and certain we could call them vows based on the content that I've been sharing today. We invite you to do that. And I've asked Dr. David and Mrs. Patricia Earle to be officiators. That sounds very official, doesn't it? But it's nice to have them in this role. As you saw in the pictures, they are doing, even for marriage blessings, in a very mixed audience in Birmingham. So they have a lot of experience here. The resolutions which are offering today, I'm going to read them to you so you know what you are invited to say yes to, right? That's important. The first is, are you resolved to do your utmost to develop a true parental heart, to embody divine love, and to live up to the ideals, values, and virtues of your faith tradition? You don't have to say yes now, but internally you can say yes, right? This isn't it. I'm just letting you know. The second will be, are you resolved to encourage faithfulness in marriage, renewal of relationships in the family, and to bring more love and forgiveness between us as parents and children? The third one will be, do you resolve to raise any young people under your care, to keep their purity, to treasure love, and to become people of good character? And fourthly, will you actively strive to be a blessing to your family, your community, our nation, and the world, so we can live together in peace as one family loved by God? Yeah. So those will be the things that we invite you to kind of resonate in your heart and affirm today. So we'll begin with the sharing of the holy nectar, and we invite you to stand for that reason. And I don't know if we have any married couples here. Do we have any married couples? Elisha and Winfred, you're welcome to come. David's suggestion was you might just come to the front. We invite couples to share a cup. So wife drinks half, passes to the husband. Husband drinks. This is nice, isn't it, right? But of course, most of us are not here as couples or are not in a couple. So, you just take one cup each, right? So please stand. If you're a married couple, come to the front. And we have two assistants who are going to pass around the little cups. Just when you receive the cup, just hold it. Hold it in your right hand or in both hands, and then wait for the instruction. Did you have any? Oh, no, I didn't have that on here. It's okay. Do you have something? Okay. If not, don't worry. Thank you. So hold your glass before we kind of make the toast or take the, little sip. The holy nectar here then, it represents new life and a new start. And since we're drinking it together, even if you just have your own cup, it also has the meaning that we're bonding in friendship, like members of one family. And so, I invite everybody to raise their cup and take... waiting for everybody to do it. And here you can follow the lead, your married couples, of how David and Patricia are doing to take
just if you're here
half.
And you have a partner or spouse back home, then you can drink half for yourself and then the other half thinking of your spouse.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. That's a very good idea. So you don't exclude them, right? So drink first for yourself and then for your partner. Does everybody have? So raise your glass and then let's drink. Thank you. So, now I'm going to show these interfaith peace blessings, these resolutions on the screen, but they will be read out by David Earl, and after each one you can say very loudly and clearly, yes! Right? So really, people the other side of Hyde Park have to hear it. Right?
So this is renewing our commitment to all the ideals and values of our different traditions and cultures that David has been sharing with us so wonderfully today. And
Number one,
are you resolved to do your utmost to develop a true parental heart, to embody divine love, and to live up to the ideals, values, and virtues of your faith traditions?
yes!
Thank you. Number two, are you resolved to encourage faithfulness in marriage, renewal of relationships in the family, and to bring more love and forgiveness between us as parents and children?
Yes!
Do you resolve to raise any young people under your care, to keep their purity, to treasure love, and to become people of good character?
Yes!
And finally, will you actively strive to be a blessing to your family, your community, our nation, and the world, so we can live together in peace as one family loved by God?
Yes!
Thank you.
And now we invite David and Patricia to offer a blessing prayer over all of us.
Okay, we'll say a short prayer now. Thank you. Our loving God, we, your children, your sons and daughters, equal in your sight, you as our heavenly parent, we thank you that we could come together on this special day and treasure this moment, that it will stay with us when we go from this place back to our families, our communities, our workplace, and so on. And we pray to have a sense of renewal and also a sense of togetherness. In this world where there's much division and isolation, we want to come together in this way and make this collective offering, which can be pleasing to your sight when you look at our world. Hopefully this will give you inspiration as we share this moment together and empower one another in goodness, and take this feeling with us out into the wider world and to be a force for good. Sometimes we feel powerless in the face of so many difficult circumstances, but together we are strong. Together we can move hearts, change minds, and bring about a better world for all to enjoy. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for all that's been shared today. Thank you for each one's effort and commitment to come here. Please let us treasure this precious moment in time, and may it empower us as we go forward into a better world. We thank you and offer this prayer on behalf of all of us, and in your holy name, Amen, Amen, Adieu, Om Shanti. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David and Patricia. Now I invite you just to turn to those around you and congratulate them. Wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody. I encourage you to take your seats just very briefly. Please take your seats and... Okay. Wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody? You know, a teacher's secret is to talk very quietly. If I talk quietly, maybe you'll catch that something very important is going to happen that you want to be part of. Absolutely, right? Thank you so much, everybody. I'm handing back to Mr. Robin Marsh, who's going to invite one or two people from our audience today to share something, I believe, right? Thank you.
Can we have a round of applause for David? Because he's been up here for most of the day, and he's done a great job. Thank you. Could I call on Pastor Elijah? Would you like to come up here? Thank you. You have to maybe introduce yourselves.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, it's good to feel on the audience here. Yes, my name is Elisha. Yeah, from Birmingham. I was introduced here by my wife when she was working somewhere with the community, and she met Mrs. Patricia, and from that time it was a very good connection. They are very lovely people, and we managed to meet them. We went to one of the event that happened to their house. What I do in Birmingham, I'm a pastor in Birmingham, a minister in the church, and I do the community work as a public service, as a bus driver as well. And I see a lot of things and know some of the things. I cannot know everything, but really there's a lot of things out there. What I would like you to say here today is just something very small to give us some ideas for us to take it with us also on top of what it has already been said. And I would appreciate it, Reverend, for your really good speech and the teachings that you have provided here. I've received a lot. And I will not really go far to take it away from people's mind. You know, sometimes when people, they hear the last message is what they will go with it. So I don't want it to interrupt with that. But what I want to say is just for us to receive that peace within us. And within you, you can value yourself that you have that peace. If you don't take that peace within you, it will be very hard for you to share or to expect someone to give something that you don't have. So I would like you to encourage us all to take that kind of peace, to value yourself, to love yourself first, and to see that you deserve to be here. You deserve to hear whatever has been said here today. We have a lot of people outside there. We have young adults outside there. And nowadays, if you go out, you hear the way they sound, what they do and say. It's like people, the youngest, they know much than as adults. They too much know compared to how much you can try to help them. But myself, I'm trying to think, how can I do much to engage or to bring this peace to their life. You see youngest how they smoke, how they curse. They start to curse from their young age. I don't know, maybe this one they hear from their parent or they engage from friends, but something that we have to take it is to change our addiction, to change our behavior, to go with this kind of peace. Peace within me first, then peace to share. If I've got no peace, how will I share with you? If you don't have peace, how will you share with me? So I really, really wanted to encourage us all. We can take this moment. It's just, you can say maybe it's a lot of things I've been saying here, but something small, take it with you, is this peace. To go with it and to share. We need to change the generation. We need to change our society. We need to change our churches and the people around our places of worship. With your kind of worship, kind of faith, I do believe you have something you believe. It include the peace that you heard today. Take it. Pray with it. Speak positive word within it. Embrace it, then bring that aroma within your family. I do believe if someone smokes around you, all of us will smell that smell. Same thing, if you have peace, make sure everyone around you, everyone around us, get that peace. See the value of that peace. And from that, bit by bit, one step to another, we'll find ourselves, we change the nation, and we change the nations. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
So my partner in peace, Margaret, is going to come organize this. Yes.
It's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm very, very happy to see you all today. That young people, new to me sometimes, and also old people that's always here, people that really support UPF. That is very wonderful, and new faces are most welcome. And at the end of the sessions, we ask people to say a few words, and this is not very surprising that I took permission from people if they want to say something. So I thought I wanted some students, and I felt that Emmanuel Fessa was very attentive. You also were very attentive. But you want to come and say a few words? Emmanuel? No, not the student, sorry. Not Emmanuel. Roxanne Heto. And he's looking at me. Roxanne, not Roxanne. Son of Rock.
Yes, son of
But please, 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Just some reflections. What you
Okay.
felt.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm so very happy to be here. And I thank my good friend Sophie for inviting me into this program. I was somewhere meditating upon my life when he approached me and then brought this up. And being an ex-military before, I've been on several peacekeeping missions in Congo, Sudan, Cote d'Ivoire, and Lebanon, so I know peace. So I told him, yes, I love peace, and I would love to be under this program. That's why I'm here. And when I came, I've learned a lot from our professor, our great speaker. And the things I picked from what he shared was, today, I learned that the fruit of life is just a metaphor, and it's true meaning is just love itself. And true love is unconditional, and we all need to love one another. I also picked the 4 fallen natures. That 1, we should love people as God loves us. we should also not neglect our own responsibility and seek a position that rightly belongs to others. We should also not dominate others whom we should respect. And again, we shouldn't seek to justify our own wrongdoings. So I would say we should continue to increase the happiness in our lives, as he said, and we should all go out, speak peace, we should breathe in peace, breathe out peace, we should share peace, live in peace, and we'll be able to achieve what we are all here for. Thank you very much.
Very good words. Thank you very much. I wanted to now ask a very special lady from Birmingham. Is Maureen Foxhall. I always see her as like a little angel. And a big voice. It's got singing. But you don't have time to sing, but you have time to talk. 2 minutes. Maureen.
My dear friends, if you see me as an angel, you need to go to Specsavers. Thank you, Patricia, and for inviting me here today. Thank you for David for driving us here. It's been quite a few years since I've been here. I think it was before COVID. Yes. I was a chaplain in one of the biggest hospitals in the country during that time, and recently have retired from being a chaplain. And I was intending to go on a retreat, because it's a big change in your life. But everything that I needed to face, you have said today. So it has felt like me not having to go all that far, but God coming as a father coming to running to me and greeting me home. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. What else do I have to say? That's just really moved me today. Thank you. And it's interesting that this sort of retreat and the promises of renewal have happened here. And what is that saying to me?
It's a good place.
Yeah, I know it's a good place, but, am I supposed to be getting more involved with you?
Absolutely, if you wish.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
I chose you. I don't know why, but I know you. Now the next person is also fairly new to us. It's Safa Boxy, a very incredible man working for good. I invite you. Safa Boxy. 2 minutes.
Hi. Margaret just asked me to say a few words, so I've quickly written something down, actually. I want to say a quote by the late Tupac Shakur, who was a rap artist who sadly passed away way beyond his time. And he said, "You've got to make a change. It's time for us people to start making changes. Let's change the way we eat. Let's change the way we live. Let's change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working. We've got to do and make some change to survive." And I have so much gratitude today. Thank you very much, Margaret, Robin, David. That was fantastic. Your seminar, and it's just concretized what Universal Peace Federation's about, and it's about making a change. It's about promoting peace, and it's not going to be easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't need organisations like this. I think the key is to come together. As humanity, we work best in communion, and if we can all come together and move forward together and avoid all the mistakes and avoid all the bad stuff that's happening in the world and try and go forward and try and make a difference, because each one of us can make a little difference. We may not change the world, but we can try and change ourselves to help change the world. So thank you very much, Margaret, and thank you very much. It's great meeting you all today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we go back to Birmingham. Emmanuel Fessa was in the group with him. He has something to say. Please welcome him.
Good afternoon again. I already said that being in front of people is not one of my departments. But in terms of what has been said today, I remember a story back home in Eritrea what happened, how things were resolved in one family. I just need to make it very short as much as I can. Basically, what happened is one family a boy has killed somebody in a certain village. So what happened was in those days, the people tried to revenge into the other family. But the man, the dad of the person who has died, told everyone that, please, I don't need any blood again. Just help me to pray. Let my enemy be wise. And then the people will say, whether he is wise or not, they have already killed your child. So no, I only need your prayer to help me to say, let my enemy be wise. Then one day, those family, that side, they came with the dad came with his two children. One is the killer, and the other is a brother. So they bring them into the community or where they were sitting. Then they told him that, okay, this is the man who killed your son, or the boy who killed your son. And the other one is my another son. So now, instead of thinking of revenging and going everywhere, so now this is the boy, go and kill him, that side of the river. And then use the second son in replacement of your child. Imagine how beautiful story it is. So then the man said, okay, now my prayer has been heard. God has heard my prayer that I have got a very wise people today. So he said that, okay, I'm very happy today. I feel like my son is not dead. So I'm going to give my daughter to the one who has killed my son. And I'm going to give another daughter of my friend to the other child. So let's be peaceful. So this is how they resolve this kind of very hard things in the elderly, for the sake of peace. So this is a little story that I need to share this afternoon with you. And I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and nice and short. I would like to ask Ruth Flynn. She's new to UPF, but she's a very nice lady and doing very good stuff with spirituality as well.
Yes. Thank you so much. What an amazing opportunity to be here. I first met Robin at the House of Lords at an event. We had a chat, we connected, and then I met Dr. Justina, and Dr. Justina introduced me to Margaret. And at that point, I didn't know Margaret was connected to Robin, and they were very much interested in talking to me and in what I was doing. So I believe it was a divine connection. I'm not here by mistake. I know it's a divine connection. And when Margaret invited me to come and listen to the Vision Day, which was, I think, 2 months ago, I just wanted to know what's the foundation of the organization. And I can say that it's an amazing organization. Just listening to the stories, Dr. David, you've shared today, and what the organization is founded in. Yes, I'm a Christian, so that means a lot to me. And also that it goes beyond, it represents what Jesus represents, and that's peace, love. And as you've walked us through the whole journey from the beginning, the ideal, the falling, and then the restoration. So that gives me a lot of hope in that I'm not just limited to my Christian faith. You know, it's an interfaith, and we are all God's children. Amen. And I've been wanting to reach out, but sometimes you don't know how to do it. So it's like I've been equipped with the tools today to know how to reach out to other people, to love, and love is the universal language everybody understands. So I'm greatly inspired, to raise my family well and go back to the foundation of what really makes us who we are and how we can move forward. So thank you so much.
Hey, you've got a
Thank you,
winner.
Margaret.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Okay, I briefly got one more student, Stephen Baverstock, also from Greenwich. He doesn't say much, but he wants to now to inspire us.
I'm running onto the stage. Thank you. Thank you. And Stevie from Greenwich, of course, Southeast London. And I just want to start by thanking every one of you for being here, because the fact that you're here shows your motivation towards peace, towards mutual prosperity. And I also want to thank everyone for their blessings. I want to thank the inspirational speeches we've had today and the lectures. And there's not a time when I walk out of here and I don't feel completely inspired. And it's just, there's something in the air. And, we were talking earlier specifically about how young people have lost hope.
Yes.
But the fact is, people of all ages, all over the world, have lost hope. And there is too much division in our world. There's too many people that are focused on division. And so to be in a room full of people that are trying to bring back change, to bring people together, it's just... It's emotional. So thank you. And a really special thank you to Farhad, because it's Farhad that introduced me to the UPF. Yeah. And we only met by chance coming out of a lecture. And he's a fantastic man. And I think...
so are you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we've got very nice young people. And very nice people. The last but not least, I have a friend called Caroline Hayward, and she's moved from London, to somewhere else, and she's the first time coming in person again. I know she's very inspirational, so 2 minutes only, darling.
Only. I've been told to make it quick. Today, I feel like my cup has been filled. I feel emotionally filled. Not only just for the new people that I've met today, and bless everyone that I've connected with today, and the ones I'm yet to meet. I feel completely full. And more than that, I just feel honoured that I've come back to my family. My beautiful Margaret. Robin greeted me at the door, and my beautiful Reverend David Hanna, and his wonderful wife. You've never left me, you've stayed in touch. And today it's not just about the lecture. I feel something. I feel like my heart is completely wide open, and I've missed this family. I've missed not being here. And I do feel like I've come back to my home, and I'm going to take this part of me, this home, with me. I've missed you all. I've absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed today. And more than that, I've heard this type of lecture many times. Yes. It doesn't matter how many times. It doesn't matter how many times I've heard about the fall. I always hear something new, something different. And I always feel like I'm closer to understanding why we're here. And I do feel that this is all about moving from head to heart. This is all about not actually discussing what's going on up here, but moving into the consciousness of the heart so that we feel and we unite through being in the heart. And it doesn't matter what politic, what religion, what economics, what divide. What matters is that when we come here into the heart, then there is only peace.
Next time, you're going to do the meditation. She is amazing in doing meditation. The only time I don't fall asleep.
And the last thing I want to leave with is I'm actually a supporter of Buddhism, so I'd like to leave you with a namaste, because that's my feeling of how I feel. We have raised the planet's consciousness by being here today. So I'd like you to, if you're comfortable, in a prayer position, and then lower your head. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to give a chance in that corner. Is there anybody that had wanted to say something? Okay, quickly though. Help her, please. Because what's happening, my dog? Because when you're sitting, you get stuck, don't you? I'm the same. My eyes was on, what's her name? Okay, this is difficult. Yeah. So why didn't you like this?
This is my dance, so don't worry.
Is it Caribbean dance?
Yeah. Yeah, so if I dance, it's my dance. My name is Katie, so it's Auntie Katie. I'm from Birmingham. By divine connection, I'm here, so it's a story for another day. In 2013, at the peak of my career, I had a bad accident. So if you ever doubted whether there is God,
There's always.
you just have to look at me before you even hear the story. But in the midst of that, COVID came. And before COVID, which was 2020, isn't it? Yeah. I only had 3 weeks in total of those 3 weeks, those 7 years, when I didn't have an appointment. And then COVID came. I had to shield, only to start discovering who I was. I was a change management expert, but when change was happening to me, I just didn't know what it was. And then, in a nutshell, I started asking God why He put me in that position. And it's a story of another day, but I saw something called assignment. So in a nutshell of all that, something bathed within me, and He called centers of hope. So I just put this one.
Can I open it?
Yeah.
Let go.
Okay.
What is it? Can you read it, somebody?
Yeah, so it's centers of hope. Teach one, help one, save one. And moreover, challenge me, because each of me, it's not myself. It's me, because I have my own demons, I have all my prejudices through everything else. So challenge me and challenge you to change for a better tomorrow for our children's children. So this resonates with me quite a lot. I've been struggling to say, where do I take this message to the platform? Because all of us here can change one, save one, help one, and challenge ourselves to change for a better tomorrow. And it starts with us. And this today was just God bless you guys. God bless you.
Wait. Can you help him, sir? Can you help him? So I just want to say thank yous. There's many people to thank for this meeting, particularly the Patricia and the David group coming all the way. You know, I came from my house. It was very difficult to come at that time, but they're coming with groups of people. We're so grateful for you as well as the people that you brought. They're all kind and really good people. And I want to thank my colleague Joyce. Where is she? She's not here. And also Mrs. Hanna that were helping. And also, I forgot your name. You. Yoshi and Sophie. Then they came, just I wanted them to hear what we're doing, but they worked all the time. Also, I want to thank my, where's Stephen? Stephen started running, getting the food, doing this and that, the moment he arrived. And also Israel, that you saw this morning. He's an amazing guy. He's really helping us very much. And also each and every one of you. If I've forgotten somebody who helped, I'm sorry. But every one of you make the thing, isn't it? You can't do it alone. This is the collective beauty of people, collective understanding of God and wanting to help, like Stephen was saying. This is a good thing. Thank you so much for coming, and you can come back any other time. What is the next thing we're doing? Oh, women's group next week on Tuesday. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think that David and Patricia, they started off very early in the morning. That it's quite stressful, I think, driving and so on. So we're very grateful for you bringing such a nice group of people to join us. Yeah, and thank you for everyone who is contributing to today in different ways. David and Kunja, especially, thank you. It's I want to wish everyone a safe journey home. And in terms of future events, the last Tuesday of every month we usually have something. So the last Tuesday of this month we will do something. There's a professor from New Delhi University who's in charge of our Global Youth and Sustainability Forum. He will be coming here, and someone else I'm sure will also be speaking. But then the month after, we're going to arrange a Peace Road event between UK and France. Sometime between, I think, in the late part of August, but we haven't tied down the dates yet. So we'll let you know. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. God bless. So, group photo. Group photo.